Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Carnage Reviews. My name is Eric. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm sure you guys have heard of a love triangle. She loves him, but she also loves this other guy, or he loves her, but he kind of likes this other girl, or hell, all three of them love each other. You never know. Have you ever thought about this, though? A man and a woman, she loves him, but she also loves a corpse? More than likely, you've never thought about this situation before. And if you have, more than likely, you're in a room with padding right now. Necromantic 2 answers the question on what would happen in a love triangle between a man, a woman, and a corpse. Boy, it's a doozy. Nekromantik 2 was directed by Jörg Buttgereit. It stars Monica M. and Mark Reeder. Nekromantik 2 picks up where the first film ended. Rob commits suicide and has achieved infamy as a necrophiliac. Monica, a nurse with a necrophilia fetish, digs up Rob's body and takes him home with her. Monica attempts to get, intimate with Rob, but finds she is unable to get pleasure and starts to get ill. She cleans him up, puts new clothes on him, and takes pictures of herself and him together as if they were a couple. I imagine Rob is the ideal boyfriend for most women. He doesn't say shit. Sure, he is lifeless, but I imagine most women see men this way anyways. Monica meets a man named Mark at a movie theater. Mark gives her his spare ticket as the date he was waiting for did not show up on time. Monica and Mark form a relationship, causing a breakup between Monica and Rob. A tear-filled Monica dismembers Rob's body and puts the pieces in trash bags. She later decides to keep both of his heads, as I guess, a souvenir. If you don't know what I mean by both of his heads, think about it for a minute. Despite Mark's career in dubbing porn films, Monica finds him a bit vanilla and is unable to find pleasure during their sexual encounters. She finds herself pining for Rob. Mark becomes concerned when Monica begins taking photos of him where he is told to pretend to be dead. And he also notices her strange fascination with death. So which one will Monica choose? The dead guy or the plain guy? In an introduction to the film, director Jörg Buttgereit said that Munich police confiscated Nekromantik 2 and tried to destroy it. Luckily, that did not happen. He also claims that Nekromantik 2 is not a horror film, but a love story. I agree with him partially that the film is more of a love story than a horror film, at least in the traditional sense. It certainly has horror elements, with some differences. The film is violent and disturbing, but Nekromantik 2 really isn't meant to scare you. Shock you perhaps, but there's no fear in the film. And like Nekromantik, there's no real villain either. Well, I guess that would depend on your perspective. If you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what I'm talking about. I need to correct myself on something I said in my previous video. I said that Nekromantik 1 and 2 were both shot on Super 8 film. Nekromantik, the first one was, but Nekromantik 2 was actually shot on 16mm. The sequel is far superior to the first film in many ways, from the story, which I feel is far more interesting than the story we got in the first film, to the effects. The Rob corpse looks really good, very lifelike. Pun intended. Also, the visuals in the film are really well done. There's a really cool shot of the camera panning up Rob's body as Monica is cleaning him up, and at one point the camera goes upside down. What's really ironic about this whole thing with Monica cleaning him up is that while she's doing this, she's drinking a glass of milk. You could associate milk with life, because when we are born, we all drink milk from our mother. The irony of Monica drinking milk here is that she's surrounded by death. This is further illustrated when Monica sits flowers near Rob. Through a time lapse, we see the flowers slowly dying. This is a really cool visual. I've always seen Necromantic 1 and 2 as dark comedies. In the first film, Rob is a guy who can only get off by death. And when he dies, in the second film, someone who shares a similar fetish steals his body to use for their pleasure. And I think if Rob knew about this, he would be very excited and turned on. And to me, that's just ironically comical. Like the first film, there is much more going on in Necromantic 2 than meets the eye. It's about love and accepting yourself for who you are, doing what pleases you and not just what pleases others. Monica is suppressed. She has this kink and this desire that's very abnormal and goes against social norms. I think at the beginning of the film, she desires to be normal and have a normal life, so when she meets Mark, she jumps in with both feet. When she discovers how plain and ungratifying it is being with Mark, she must make a choice to live this normal life or to be herself. She feels very isolated, much like Rob did in the first film. I think this is something we all can relate to. I don't mean we all want to get it on with the dead. I mean, we've all been in a relationship or situation where we really wanted to make it work and we tried, but it just goes against who we are and what we want. Necromantic 2 is a continuation of Necromantic, but as I mentioned earlier, it's a much superior film. Don't get me wrong, I like Necromantic, but Necromantic I feel had some pacing issues. Some of the shots were just way too long. Now, you do get a little bit of that in the sequel, but not as much. And also, as I said previously, the story's much better, and the effects are way better, much more gruesome and cringy. And I mean that in a positive way. If you enjoyed Necromantic, or just like watching weird and fucked up movies, Necromantic 2 is the film for you. I don't think you need to watch the first film in order to understand what's going on. Uh, it does help for context, but Necromantic 2 does work as a standalone movie. I give Necromantic 2 5 skulls. Have you seen Necromantic 2? Let me know in the comments what you think about the film and how it compares to the first one. If you enjoyed today's video, please give that like button a good old schmack. Tune in next week as I continue this theme of people who love the dead with a film from 2020. Her name was Krista. This film is much different from Necromantic 1 and 2, but it's just as crazy. I cannot wait to talk about it. Well, my friends, that's it for me today. Remember, if you're dating a girl or a guy and they want you to lay absolutely still and not even breathe, well, you may have yourself a little problem. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.